Hi, and welcome to Mindful Hatha Yoga. I'm Kalyani Nicole, and I'm going to be your yoga teacher for this class. Just a couple of things. You might like to have a couple of blocks handy, or you can even use a stack of books if you don't have yoga blocks. Of course, a mat, and I always like to have a couple of blankets. You might or might not need to have a bolster too, and you can also use a stack of pillows or even just one pillow. So to get started, we're actually going to come to a seated position. So that's why I like to use my blankets. So I like to sit on the edge of a folded blanket for a couple of reasons. I like how that gives a little boost to my base of my body and also helps encourage that spine to lift and lengthen. If your knees come up high at all, then you probably want to sit on an extra folded blanket or bolster or at the edge of a pillow. There's another alternative. You can choose to also sit with your legs out straight, or even coming into Virasana pose, where you can take that stack of books or your block and just find a resting place in a kneeling position. So finding the seated position that works best for your body today, and maybe trying something different. If you are always sitting cross-legged, maybe you want to sit in hero's pose for a change. So coming to that seated position, feeling the base of your body reaching down. So a lot of us have been, rushing around all day, trying to get a lot of things done. And now is time to just be on your mat. So as you arrive here, just letting that base of the body reach downward. I even am paying a little more attention these days to just letting my tailbone drop. You notice that I think I'm sitting a lot with that tailbone lifting upwards, which puts a lot more stress on the low back and can even make a deeper curve in that low back than our natural curve. So just finding that place where you're just sitting nice and centered here. Tailbone reaching down, legs are reaching down. Deep breath in as we lengthen through the spine. Exhale, drop the shoulders. Good. Inhale, continue that lengthening through the spine, up through the crown of the head. And exhaling, sinking back into those legs, keeping the spine long. Good. One more deep breath in. And out. And then if you like, closing your eyes and just watch your breath as it flows in through the nose, down into the belly, down into the pelvis, inviting that breath to lengthen into that deeper place in the body. And at the same time, we inhale into the lower part of the abdomen, and then we kind of fill the rib cage area, and then allowing the breath to expand a little higher with each inhale into the collarbone area as well. So filling these areas of the torso. Inhaling, we're drawing that breath in and downwards. Exhaling, reversing that up and out. And just bringing a little more awareness to how you're feeling this breath in your body tonight or today, whichever time of day you're watching this. But feeling that breath in the front of the body, and try to see if you can also feel that breath filling the back of the body. The lungs aren't just in the front of our chest, they're also in the back of our body. We want this breath to be effortless. So notice if you're pushing this breath or trying too hard, and see if you can soften a little and let go as you just deeply inhale and exhale. A few more breaths here. And I'm just going to invite you as we sit here for these moments with our breath to continue to let go, and even letting go of the thoughts that may try to creep into the mind as we're sitting with our breath. So sitting with this breath and finding a little stillness. And what's really fun is playing with, there's a slight pause at the top of the inhale, and then there's a slight pause also at the bottom of the exhale before we inhale again. And in those moments, there's usually a few seconds, could be even like milliseconds, that there's a little bit of freedom there, a little bit of spaciousness, where the mind is kind of pausing for a moment as well. So see if you can experience those pauses as you inhale and exhale here, and try not to let the thoughts of the mind creep in and disturb that focus. If they do, don't get frustrated, don't get upset. This is a practice. Some days it's easier than other days to keep those thoughts from coming on in. So just being here with that breath, with the pausing at the intersection of the inhale and the exhale. And we'll begin class by drawing our hands into our heart center, letting the thumbs gently press in. That's your little reminder, the thumbs pushing into your breastbone or sternum, that we need to continue to lift through that area. If you've begun to round a little, take in another nice deep breath. This time just exhale through your mouth, softening just a little more. Inhaling for Om. Gently releasing the hands, and wherever you are in your seated position, take your hands behind you, lean back onto the hands, take your feet wider than your hips, and rock your knees side to side. Releasing the low back, releasing those hips. I want to invite you also to continue to connect in with the breath through all of our practice today. I'll keep reminding you to breathe, and I want you to feel that breath as fully as you can in your postures, without forcing the breath. So let's go ahead and make our way right up into table position here. And if you have blankets on your mat, this is the time to move them off. If you have socks on, then it's time to take your socks off as well. However, if you would like to leave a little bit of a folded blanket for a cushion for your knees, feel free. Knees can be hip width apart. We just want to make sure that our hands are shoulder width apart and our feet and knees are hip width apart. Pushing down through your hands and spreading your fingers evenly. So we don't necessarily need them spread wide. I just want you to try to evenly spread them out and let your thumbs form a J. Taking a moment just to look at the creases of your wrists. We'd like those to be in line, parallel with the top edge of that mat. Push firmly into your hands. Inhale, even dragging the hands toward the knees on the mat without even moving them. And exhale, arching the back, release the head and tailbone to the floor. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, arch the back. Inhale, lifting the head and the tailbone. And exhale, arching the back. Release that head and neck as much as you can. Lifting up with the head and tailbone on the inhales and exhales, rounding. Good, one more each way. Inhale as we lift up, widening through those collarbones, and exhale, arching that back. Good, coming back to table. Let's go ahead and walk our hands forward into our puppy stretch. Keeping those hands shoulder width apart, fingers spread, thumbs forming a J. Just let the chest come down toward the floor. Let the head release. But try not to let those front lower ribs jut out. And one way to do that is by just tucking the tailbone to neutral position. We're not curling it under. We're just tucking that. Remember when we're seated and we just kind of brought that more to a neutral position. So doing that move will keep those ribs from jutting out. Breathe here. Breathing space into your shoulders. Good. And walking those hands back to table. Let's curl our toes under and just kind of rock back and forth on our heels. On the balls of our feet, opening up the ankles actually. So rocking back and forth. Some of you may even be able to bring your feet flat to the floor. I am not that flexible in my ankles yet. We'll say yet. So yoga isn't always about coming to the mat with flexibility already. Sometimes our flexibility is something that we gain as we do our yoga practice. Often that is the case. So dropping your knees to the floor again. We're going to take your feet over to the right. I'm going to face you guys here. I'm just going to come into a little gentle twist. So feet are over toward the right, knees are kind of directing toward the left, and you're not going to be sitting evenly on your base. That's okay. Your right hip might be lifted a little bit. Just sweep the arms up and a nice inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, twist to your left. You're going to drop that right hand outside the left thigh and the left arm behind you. Lengthen through the spine in our gentle twist, and exhale, even twisting a little bit deeper. Looking over the left shoulder if you'd like. And again, feeling the breath in the body. The breath is so powerful. It allows us to create a little more space as we move through our practice. Working out some of those tight areas. Inhaling, reaching up, back to center. Go ahead and take your hands in front of you. Take those knees towards the right, feet go over towards the left. Same thing, this twist on this side. Reaching the arms up, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, twist over to the right, dropping the left hand outside the right thigh this time, and the right arm behind you. Lengthen through your spine, deep breath in, and exhale, sink into your twist. Inhaling, and exhaling. Good. One more breath here. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up, back to center. Take the hands in front of you again and rock back up onto our feet. If you have a folded blanket, you might need to grab that. We're going to just come into garland pose. Taking your feet a little wider than your hips, I turn my toes out a little bit of an angle. I am not as flexible, like I said, in my ankles yet. So I need to rest on a folded blanket in this pose. Some of you will be able to take your feet all the way to the floor flat, and that's great. If you can do that, great. If you can't, I prefer you use a fold under your blanket because we want to have your weight in the balls of the feet and the heel. So we're not balancing in the heel, balls of the feet. Otherwise, you're missing out on this deeper opening here. So our elbows are inside of our legs, pushing the thighs open as we push the hands together. Shoulder blades draw down the spine, down towards the hips. Good, lengthening through the spine. Breathe here. So this is great for opening that low back if your low back is tight. Breathing, maybe your hips are feeling a little tight too. Sending the breath into those tight areas. Again, remembering this is how we create more space in the body. By bringing awareness to those tight areas, breathing into them, and then softening those muscles of that area. Good. And then taking the hands to the floor, just lifting those hips. We'll walk our feet to about hip width apart. Feet should face forward now. Just come into your forward fold. Bring a little bit of weight into the balls of the feet here to stack the hips more over the heels. But at the same time, try to stretch those heels out behind you as well. Good. Release the head and neck. Let the torso continue to draw toward the thighs. But if the backs of the legs are tight, you can start with a little bend in your knees. Even holding opposite elbows if you want to just hang deeply, letting go here. Let go of the head and neck. Let go of the spine. Let's come up to a flat back. Now stretching here, I want your hands either to be on your thighs or your lower legs, and just stretch long through your spine. So again, that tailbone drops a little bit. Make sure it's not sticking up and pointing out way back behind you. And also think about lengthening through the breastbone. The chin is going to be neutral, so it's slightly tucked, so the back of the neck can stretch long. Draw the shoulder blades toward the spine. And breathe. Good. Keep that length if you can. Arms come out to the side and just reverse jackknife all the way up. Reach through your fingers. And let's drop the left arm down alongside your torso. Keep your weight even in your feet and bend a little bit to that left, opening up the right side. Good. Breathing. Tailbone is still neutral. Lifting up through that right side. Deep breath in, creating that space. Good. Coming back to neutral. Both arms come up. Stretch long. Dropping the right arm down by your side. Weight is even in both feet. We're stretching long through that left side of the body. Deep breath in and out. Creating a little more space if you can. Good. Coming back up, stretch long again one more time. And really relax the arms down. Let's do just a couple of shoulder circles here. We're going to move in a few moments through sun salutation or Surya Namaskar. And I'm going to do very traditional the first round, a little slower. And then I'll just add some pieces in as we go, just to keep you on your toes. Reverse direction of the shoulder circles, back and up and forward. Good, and then up and back and down. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Good. So we're going to be coming into Samastahiti. I'm going to turn sideways to you to begin to sit up for Surya Namaskar. But staying where you're at, so keeping the feet hip distance apart, or if you're used to practicing with your feet together, then feel free to bring your feet together. Either way, let's line the second toe up with the center of our ankle. Lift your toes and just take this moment to feel the mound of the big toe, the mound of the little toe, and the center of the heel. Release the toes towards the earth again. And then hugging our thigh muscles right on into the bone. Tailbone, remember, is that neutral position, lengthening up through the spine and up through the crown of the head. The shoulders relax down, and the shoulder blades draw in toward the spine as well. But we're not hugging our arms in tight by our side. We want space. We're all about space today. Keeping space under the arms there. Take a deep breath in as you reach the hands down toward the floor. Such a simple pose that we sometimes don't stop to really experience. This is Samastahiti, or mountain pose of stillness. Some of you may know this also as Tadasana. Take another breath here, and this time inhale all the way down to the soles of the feet. And exhale from the soles of the feet up through the crown of the head. Good. Inhaling, we're reaching those arms up nice and long. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up with palms forward, lifting up and out of the waist. And exhale into your forward fold. Inhaling, we're going to step back with that right foot, bring the right knee down. Let's just take a breath here. So Ashwasandhalasana, or sometimes it's called equestrian pose. Take another breath here into those hips. And keep the next inhale as you step back to your plank. Stretch long here out through those heels, out through the crown of the head, drawing the shoulder blades toward the spine. Our tailbone is neutral, lengthening out through that sternum here too. Exhaling, we're going to drop our knees, chest, and chin to the floor in 8 points pose and keep those elbows in by your side. Inhale, pushing up into cobra and widening through the collarbones. And then on an exhale, we're just pulling ourselves right up and back to downward dog. Oh goodness, this is our first downward dog. So pedal through your heels. And breathe into the back of those legs. Giving them a little more attention. Lift the hips up and back a little more. Press into the bend of the index finger and thumb roll the inner arms up. Release the head and neck. Good. Let's inhale and step that right foot forward between the hands and bring that left knee down. Great. Exhaling that left foot forward to forward fold. Inhale. We're going to sweep those arms right on up. Gentle back bend again. And exhale right into your forward fold. Inhale, step back with that left foot. Left knee is down. And retaining that breath, that inhale as you come into your plank. Exhaling, knees, chest, and chin. Inhaling into cobra. And exhaling back to downward dog. Inhaling, we're going to step that left foot forward. Right knee down. And exhale, right foot to meet the left and forward fold. Inhaling, we're going to sweep the arms all the way up. And exhale, our arms by our side. Good, one round. Next round, deep breath in and out. Remember that spaciousness. Inhaling, reaching hands up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhaling, palms face forward, lifting up and out of the waist, and exhale into your forward fold. Inhaling, step back the right foot, right knee comes down. Retain the breath, stepping back to plank. This time you can move through 8 points pose into upward dog, or coming into chaturanga and upward facing dog. Exhaling back to downward dog. Inhale, step that right foot forward, left knee down. Exhaling, left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Gentle back bend, Hasta Uttanasana. Exhaling into Padahastasana. Inhaling, left foot back, left knee down. Retain the breath, stepping back for plank. Good. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Or chaturanga, inhaling into cobra or upward dog. Exhaling back, downward dog. Everybody. Inhaling that left foot forward, bring the right knee down. Exhaling that right foot forward into forward fold. Inhale and sweeping those arms all the way up. And exhale, arms by our side. Good, take a breath here. Reconnecting in. We do one more round. 3 points of the feet reaching downward. Tailbone is neutral. Lengthening up through the spine. Inhale, arms up. exhale, hands to heart. Inhaling, palms up and forward. And exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, right foot back, right knee down. Retaining breath for plank. And exhaling, 8 points pose or chaturanga. Inhaling into upward dog or cobra. And exhaling back to downward dog. Good. Inhale, step that right foot forward, left knee down. Retain your breath. Exhaling, left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Gentle back bend. Exhaling into forward fold. Inhale, left foot back, left knee down. Retain your breath, stepping back for plank. And again, your choice. Chaturanga into upward dog or 8 points pose to cobra. Exhaling, everybody back to downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward, right knee down. Exhaling, right foot forward, forward fold. And inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, arms by your side. Go ahead and reconnect with your breath here. Close your eyes even. Often as we exert ourselves, the breath becomes a little more shallow. Over time with awareness, we can begin to cultivate that deeper breath and maintain that. But it takes a lot of practice. For some, it may be easier. We are all so different, and that's okay. So taking in another breath here, and exhaling out. Good. So, a couple of things. We're going to move from one posture to the next, but we'll be pausing and holding those postures for several breaths as well to build some strength up in the body. I'm going to be incorporating our balance pose right into that as well. All right. So let's start at the top of our mat again. And staying at the top of your mat, keep your feet hip width apart. Reach down through the 3 points of your feet. Tailbone is dropping down, but not tucking under. And we lengthen through the spine. Circle those shoulders up and back and down. Reaching downward through the fingertips while we reach up through the crown of the head. Deep breath in and out. Inhaling up, exhaling, hands to heart. Inhaling this time right into Utkatasana. Good. Sink into your heels. Draw the tailbone to neutral. Exhaling the hands to heart. We're going to step back with that right leg into the high lunge. So sometimes this is called crescent pose. Keeping the feet hip width apart. Draw the left hip back and the right hip forward. Lifting up through the sternum as you drop the tailbone as much as you can here. Keep lifting through that back right thigh. Try not to let that drop. Good. Left knees over the left heel. Breathing deeply. Find a focal point at eye level on the wall or out your window. And reaching those arms up, but we want to keep that space in the front of the body. Breathing. Tailbone is dropping, lifting through the sternum, sinking into the legs. Good. Exhaling, hands to heart. We're going to come right into Pavrita, Parsvakonasana, revolved wide angle. So you can take the right hand outside the left thigh and the left arm behind you and just twist to the left. Continue to sink into your legs. Or take that right elbow outside the left knee. Hands are in prayer, pressing them together to increase rotation. Good. Breathing. Good. And at any point, you can inhale back up. You need to drop the back knee down. Feel free. We're going to be opening here to warrior two though, so you want to be more up. Can't do this with the knee down. We're pivoting that right foot to be parallel to the back edge of the mat. Heel to the left foot over till that heel bisects the right arch. Feel your legs here really connecting in. The left knee is tracking over the left second and third toe. Breathing, relax the shoulders, shoulders stacked over hips. We are keeping this knee from falling inward or outward. We're drawing this right thigh back behind us. Good. Tailbone has space then to release toward the floor. So remember not to overarch here either. You can turn your gaze to look forward over the third left finger. Good. Let's come into reverse where your right hand comes down the back of that thigh. We're stretching and opening through this left side. Left hand is up, palm faces behind you. Keep lunging, keep opening up through the chest and the heart. You can turn your gaze to look up at that left hand if you're steady, or keep looking out at the horizon or the floor. Good, and then we're releasing back up. Straighten the left leg. We're gonna come into Utthita Trikonasana. Keep drawing that right hip back behind you. Legs are straight, we're hugging the thigh muscles in, specifically the quadriceps, so you can feel the kneecap lift slightly. That will protect the knee. Slide the torso up to the top of your mat, reaching to that left hand. Drop the left hand down when you're ready, right hand up. Keeping that left side body long, not rounding here. So if you're rounding, you may need to come up a little higher. We're using our core, so we're not holding weight in our hand on our leg. We're using the core to hold us up. Breathing. I do even press the left hand into my leg a little bit, helping rotate my chest open a little more to the side. Gazing at the horizon or up the other upper right thumb. Good. Dropping that right hand down, lifting the torso up. We're going to pivot on that back foot to face forward toward the top of our mat again. And we're going to hop forward. We're going to come right into our balance pose. I'm going to turn to face you, but you're going to stay at the top of your mat. We're coming into Garudasana or eagle pose. So going ahead and bending the knees. We're going to take that right leg and wrap it over the left, hooking those toes behind the left calf if possible, or just letting them stay out to the side. Sit down here, sink into your legs. So for some of you, this is enough of a balance. Keep your hands at your heart in prayer position. Gaze forward or at the floor. Breathe, tailbone drops. If you want to take the full arms come out to the side. You're going to cross your right arm over the left, wrapping the arms around each other. Palms together or backs of hands. Breathe. Focus. And then gracefully with ease, like the eagle. Release. Okay, top of our mats again. We're going to repeat all of that on the opposite side. So feet starting hip width apart. Reach down through the 3 points of your feet. Feel nice and steady. Arms by your side, lengthen up through the spine, through the crown of the head. Deep breath in and out. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhaling right into Utkatasana, chair pose. Drop that tailbone. Lengthen through the sternum. Exhale, hands to our heart. This time we'll step back with the left foot into our high lunge. Draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Sink into your legs. Right knees tracking towards the second and third toe. And staying over the right heel. Good. Dropping the tailbone, lifting through the sternum. Arms can come up Finding that gaze straight ahead at eye level. And breathing. Relax the shoulders, widen through the collarbones, and breathe deeply. Good. Exhaling, hands to heart. We're going to twist to the right, drop the left hand outside the right thigh, right arm behind you. And I hate that I'm turning my back to you, but I'm going to stay right here. Take that left elbow if you want outside the right knee. Hands together in prayer. And squeezing the hands together. Good. Untwisting, lifting back up, opening to warrior two, pivoting that left foot to be parallel with your back edge of your mat. Heel to that right foot over till it bisects that left arch. Sink into your side lunge. Again, second and third toe is still tracking. The knee is still tracking toward the second and third toe. This knee is opening. This thigh is reaching back under us. There should be some space back there. You tuck the tailbone into that space. Good. Arms up, but shoulders are relaxed. We still reach from fingertip to fingertip, so we're active all the way out to the tips of our fingers. Gazing over the third right finger. Slide the left hand down the back of the leg. Reverse, where you keep lunging. We often come out of our lunge here when we do this reverse. So reaching up through that right hand, palm facing behind you, breathing through this right side of the body. Coming up, straightening that right leg, preparing for Utthita Trikonasana on this side. Hug those thigh muscles in. See if you can feel the quadricep engage and lift on that kneecap. Try to keep that engagement as you slide the right arm forward, hinging at that right hip. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up. Now, when you do this from this side, it may feel completely different than the other side. That's okay. Remember, we're not putting weight in the right hand. Stretching, turning our gaze up at the upper left thumb, or staying looking out at the horizon. Good. Pressing into those legs. And then we're going to pivot again, coming up on the back of that left foot. Right foot can heel toe over, so we're hip width apart. Go ahead and step forward. Good. We're going to come into Garudasana on this side. I will turn to face you, but you can stay at the top of your mat. Reaching down through that right foot this time. I will not be mirroring you. Crossing the left leg over, sit down. If you can, hook those toes behind you, great. If not, just keep them out to the side. This sitting down in this pose, drop the tailbone, is going to help keep you more steady. Gazing forward and breathing. Steady breath. Keeping the hands at heart or taking them out to side. Left arm on top of right. Nestling those elbows. Backs of hands together or palms. And breathe. Imagining this beautiful eagle just perched on that branch, looking out over the water. Feeling steady and regal and magnificent. And then he gracefully takes flight. Good. Shake the legs out. Great job. So let's go ahead and take a little flow to get back to the floor. Feet can be hip width or together. 3 points of the feet, sinking down into them. Lengthening up through the spine as we engage those thigh muscles. Tailbone is neutral. Arms by our side. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Taking in your full range of motion there. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up, palms face forward, lifting up and out of the waist. And exhale, lengthen as you come forward and down into your forward fold. Inhale, stretch long through the spine. And exhale back down with that length. We just plant our hands about shoulder width apart and step those feet right on back to downward dog. Feet are hip width apart. Stretch long through the spine, pressing down through the mound of the index finger and the thumb. Lift those hips up. Reach the heels down. Breathe. Great, and let's go ahead and release on down into our child's pose. Knees wider than hips, big toes together. Shift the hips back toward the heels. Doesn't matter if you come back as far as I do, or if you have to keep those hips up a little higher, but stretching back. Let's reach the arms overhead and drop the forearms to the floor. Let the forehead rest on the earth. And let's just breathe here, a few nice deep breaths. Melting and softening for just a few more moments in your child's pose. Child's pose is often said to be that ultimate surrender. So letting the body continue to let go there. Good, and then slowly bringing those hands underneath your shoulders and pushing yourself on up. We're gonna just swing our legs over to the side and bring them right in front of us. So I'm going to sit again on the edge of a folded blanket. First pose we're gonna do on the floor here is Paschimottanasana. So kind of addressing the back of those legs. I know a lot of people live with just almost like chronic tight hamstrings, maybe even into your calves. Just from life, I know that I personally love to wear high heels, and so I even have a little joke that the reason I do yoga is so I can wear those heels, but that's not exactly true. But anyway, let's get into the back of those legs in a moment. As those hamstrings tighten, there's 3 muscles there in the back of the thigh, and as those get shortened and tightened, they can often pull in the pelvis where they attach. And some of that pulling can sometimes cause some of that low back pain that we get. So it's really nice to have nice open hamstrings for lots of reasons, that being one of them. But I also want to just have some awareness around as we come into this pose that it's also stretching a lot of fascia and muscles in the low back. And as we come into this pose, I don't want you to go as deep as you possibly can right away. I want you to come to the beginning of the pose where you start to feel a nice stretch, not pain. Anytime you have pain in a yoga pose, you need to come out or you need to back off. So being mindful of that. And then there's one other thing that I think it's B.K.S. Iyengar in The Tree of Life mentions. It might not be that book, but in one of his books, he talks about how sometimes we overstretch one side versus the other. So if we have one side that's a little tighter, we might tend to kind of back off on that side and not go as deep and kind of push the side that's easier. So there's these yoga philosophy, there's these practices called the yamas and the niyamas, and one of them a lot of us know about is called ahimsa, which is nonviolence. And so this was in relationship to the idea of nonviolence even in our body, that we're not overstretching one side and not stretching the other side. We want to keep some balance there. So not pushing yourself too deep into your posing, causing violence to your own body. So pushing through the heels, one of the secrets in this pose is keeping those quadriceps nice and strong and active here. Lengthening up through the torso. There's lots of different ways to come into this. We're just going to come into it, keeping the spine long. Inhale, reaching the arms up alongside the ears, and exhaling forward. Now, coming with our flat back for as far as we can, which may not be very far. And then letting the torso ground, letting the hands come to either the floor or your lower legs. If you can come effortlessly to your feet, feel free, but I don't want you using that to pull the torso forward. So I've been doing a lot of gardening today, and my low back is tight. So I'm going to pause at the beginning of my edge here and just breathe into the back of my legs and the low back. And remembering what I was talking about with the breath, creating space in the body. So as we breathe here, just letting the body invite you to come deeper, because as you send the breath into those tight areas, believe it or not, the body will respond by starting to soften. You can also mindfully begin to soften those areas just by relaxing the tight areas in the body. So watch where you're at in this pose. Breathing into the areas that feel tight. Softening them, but keeping the legs active. Thinking about lengthening forward more than rounding forward as well. I'm going to give us just a little time in this pose. Take a few more breaths here. And then using an inhale to lift the torso back up. We're going to circle the arms up and around, again playing with your range of motion. Bring the hands behind you, fingers point in. Point your toes. And lift the hips right off. Reverse plank. Deep breath in and out. Urdhva Purva Uttanasana. Deep breath in again. And go ahead and release down. So let's come into Janusar Savasana, or head to knee pose. We're going to bend the left leg up. Keep the right leg as the one that's straight and active at the moment. So push through that heel. Keep that leg active and strong. Before we come into this, the tendency is just to let the knee fall out to the side. That doesn't come very far down often because we've got a lot of tightness in these inner thigh muscles. So let's pick the knee up and rotate the hip in the hip socket. And then lay the left sole, that foot, inside the right thigh. And that knee comes down a lot closer to the floor, a little more relaxed. We can push into the left thigh with our left leg with our left hand and just rotate the torso toward the right. Keep that right leg active. And as we rotate the torso to the right, we're just kind of thinking about drawing the lower abdomen over to the right and then squaring the shoulders to face forward. So the lower abdomen's reaching to the right, but the shoulders are straight to the top of the mat. Inhale, reaching to those fingertips, same thing here. Exhaling, lengthening forward, but listening to the body here. This is a big opener for the back of the legs as well. So finding your edge, your soft edge, not the deep one, and breathe. Your hands can be on the mat or holding your lower leg or towards your foot. Letting the head come down towards the leg. Keep breathing. Good. This time we're going to inhale, lift the torso up, circle the left arm with that range of motion up and around and down behind you. Point the right toes, lift the hips, coming up. Stretching through the right side. And releasing those hips back down. Good. Stretching the left leg out on the floor. Right knee is now the one that is bent. And keeping that leg active. Pick that right leg up. Circle it in the hip socket. Lay the sole of that foot inside the left thigh. Lengthen through the spine. You can use that right hand to push into the right leg, twisting the torso over to the left, lower abdomen, shoulders face toward the top of the mat. Reaching the arms up on your inhale, lengthening, creating that length, coming forward, lengthening over the left leg this time. Hands can come to the floor, the lower leg, or the foot, but remember we're not reaching to the foot and pulling that torso forward. Breathing here. Good. Inhale, lifting the torso up. Circling the right arm up and around, down behind you. Coming onto the right knee, lift the hips, point the left toes, and stretch. Great, and releasing back down. Good. Let's come into Savasana. So sitting on the edge of your folded blanket. Drawing the soles of the feet toward each other. Just did a little hip opening just a minute ago. Doing a little bit more here. So drawing the feet in toward the torso. And squeezing the upper leg toward the lower leg toward the upper leg. So we're engaging these legs toward each other. The lower leg toward the upper leg toward the lower leg. You may get a little more opening as you do that. If you do, and your knees are coming down closer to your mat, you can feel free to open your feet like a book, keeping those outer edges touching. Just hold your feet or your ankles and just take a moment to take a deep breath in here. Lengthen through that spine. Draw the shoulder blades in toward the spine and down. And as you come forward, lengthen that torso forward. So again, finding that soft edge, not your deepest pose. Lengthening, lengthening, lengthening forward. When you find that edge, go ahead and round the back if you want, or continue to lengthen forward. Keep breathing into the hips. And inhale and lift the torso back up. Good. Circle the arms up and around. Bring them down behind you. Keep the soles of the feet together. Wiggle the elbows in toward each other. Deep breath in and out. Inhaling, lengthening and widening through those collarbones. And exhaling. Coming back up. Cup the hands under the knees. Use the arms to lift those legs up. Let's stretch the legs out wide. Good. Doesn't matter how wide that you come. Just listening again to your body. Bringing the toes toward the ceiling, but more importantly, we're pushing through our heels. And as I come into this pose, I often find that I have to keep adjusting my legs. As I come forward here in a moment, sometimes my legs will actually want to lengthen out a little bit more. So just playing with that. But again, let's keep the spine nice and long. And exhale, just walk the hands forward. And if you have tight hamstrings, we've been working on opening those. You may not come down very far. So honoring again where you're at, honor those hamstrings. Breathing, reaching the tailbone down behind us, engage the quadriceps, keep them engaged and see if you can't gain a little more spaciousness to move forward into. But again, never pushing that. Don't push beyond your nice edge. Breathe. Soften. And allow the body to invite you further. Keep pushing out through those heels. Keep those quadriceps engaged. Lots of that today. Good. And then walking the hands towards you, reversing out of this. Oh, let's lean back and draw the legs slowly into center. Good. Point the toes. Have your fingers point in towards your torso again and lift those hips right on up. Urdhva Purva Uttanasana. Lift those hips up as much as you can and release back down. Great. So let's come into hero pose. Do you want to do hero pose? Yeah, let's do hero pose. Sitting on a block is a nice way to come into hero pose. So knees are bent. If you really can't do hero pose because of your knees or you've got knee issues, then sit in our cross-legged position, or even just sit with your legs out straight. But in hero's pose, if your knees bother you at all, you can just take the calves, pull them out to the side a little bit as you sit back. And again, that creates a little more space. Reaching down through the tailbone here. I just want to do a little bit of opening for our shoulders. But we've done so much for the pelvis and hips today. I don't want to do actual Gomukhasana legs. I just want to do Gomukhasana arms. So this is when you may need a strap. So grabbing that tie or strap, a scarf will also work. A man's tie actually works. It doesn't have to be a yoga tie. And let's just drape this over our right shoulder. You may not need this, but just having it handy in case you do. I'm going to start by taking that left hand, and I'm not going to mirror you, behind us. Palm is facing out, so facing the palm, the back of the hand is actually what's against your back. And just walking this hand up the back to as high as it can just comfortably go. If you can get up between the shoulder blades, great. If you can't, that's okay too. Watching the shoulder sometimes wants to roll forward. So if you can think about trying that shoulder kind of up and back and down and trying to keep that here while you're in this position. Take the right arm up, remember I'm not mirroring you, so it'll look like the opposite. Roll that right palm in to face the head, bend that elbow and reach down for either your strap. If you have a long ponytail, I've even heard of people using that. I don't know about that, but reaching for the fingertips if you can reach them. And again, watch the lower ribs. They like to jut out here, but if you just think about dropping that tailbone down, pushing that down into your block, breathing here into your shoulders. This is a great opener for your shoulders. Relax that left shoulder down and back. Reaching up through the right elbow as much as you can, directing that up toward the sky. Tailbone, again, that likes to keep lifting up off that block, so keep pressing that downward. Nice steady base. Breathing. And slowly, slowly, slowly releasing the fingers or the strap or the tie. Moving slowly out of these poses. I am holding these a little bit tonight, just giving some time for the body to open. You may feel a rush of blood in that arm as it releases. You may feel some warmth or coolness. Watch out for tingling. Depending on the tingling, sometimes that's just the blood flow moving, but you don't want to feel any nerve kind of tingling. That might mean you're going a little too deep in this pose, so backing off with that. So now we're taking that right hand behind us with the palm out and walking that up the back as high as it will go. And again, watching that shoulder. We have a tendency, all of us, to have one side or the other that can be kind of more tendency for that side to roll forward more than the other side. So just having some awareness, if this is that side, of keep drawing that shoulder kind of up and back and down. Taking the left arm up alongside the temple, palm rolls in to face the head, and reach down for your fingers or your strap or tie, whatever you're using. And again, tailbone drops, front lower ribs come in. Those ribs, when they jut out, are sometimes an indicator that our back is tight or our shoulders are tight. So we want to keep the stretch in the shoulders. And by sticking our ribs out, we take some of that stretch away from the actual shoulders. So keeping that, pressing down through the tailbone to keep those ribs from jutting out. Reaching that left elbow up toward the ceiling and breathing. Dropping that tailbone, lifting up through that spine. A few more breaths on this side. This is also a really great pose for those of you who are at a computer for your day. This one really helps with that over curvature that happens in that upper spine. There's a little bit of a natural kyphotic curve there, but if we're not careful over time, that curve can be more pronounced. And then slowly releasing those hands and releasing the strap. Good. And just maybe slowly circling the shoulders up and back and down. Feeling how they feel. They may feel a little more open and more freedom there, hopefully. Maybe some few areas of tenderness, but no pain. Let's make our way down onto our backs. I like to have a blanket opened up on the floor. So coming into position on our backs, keep your knees bent here. So I like to do just a little bit of core work before we come to the rest of our floor practice here. So we're just going to do leg lifts today, and I am going to do double leg lifts. So if that's too much for your back and sacrum, then just drop one leg at a time. You can do just the right leg, and then do the left leg. I don't like the alternating quite as much. Stay with one side for the full count and then the other side. But we'll do double. If you like, you can roll your hip up, place your hand palm down underneath your sacrum. That will sometimes help give you a little cushion there. Otherwise, keeping your hands out by your side, palms pushing down. And notice the curve in the low back. We don't want that big curve again. So just bringing the tailbone to neutral and kind of stretching that long. You should feel still a little bit of your natural curve here in the low back. It shouldn't be flat on the floor and it shouldn't be a big curve. So finding that neutral curve there, taking your feet on up, finding that natural curve. Make sure you're maintaining that. We want to maintain that natural curve the whole time we're releasing the legs down. We'll do 9. So go ahead and exhale the legs down until you feel that curve shifting on the back. That's your cue, that's your level to lift the legs back up. So there was one. Exhaling down. Inhaling 2. Exhaling down. Inhaling 3. Exhale down. Inhale 4. Exhale down. Neutral low back. Inhaling 5. Inhaling 6. Inhaling 7. Inhaling 8. Inhaling 9. Bend your knees. Hug the knees in. Yeah, give yourself a little break there. Oh, and this is a great spot to just kind of roll around on your sacrum too. Massage the sacrum. One direction and then the other. Good. So I think tonight we'll just come up into Satyabandhasana or bridge pose while we're right here. So feet hip width apart on the floor. I've got fringe on my blanket, so messing with my feet position. Good. Now, as we lift up in a moment, and we lift fully up, there will be a tendency in some people's bodies for the knees to want to wing out. Just try to keep those knees tracking the same width as your hips, okay? And your feet are hip width apart as well. Arms alongside your body, starting with palms down, push into the feet, curl the tailbone under. We're gonna kind of roll up the spine as we come up into this. So lifting the pelvis and lifting one vertebra at a time if you can off the floor. Coming all the way up to your shoulders. Do not turn your head at this point. Keep looking up at the ceiling. Pausing and staying here if you'd like. Now, some of you know the deeper version where we walk our shoulders underneath of you and clasp the hands. We push the pinky side of the hands into the floor, the side of the forearms into the floor. We're lifting, almost like we're kind of balancing on our triceps here. Pushing and lifting up through the heart, lifting through those hips, keeping the knees from winging out. Oh, so many things going on here. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. It's a great pose. Keep those glutes engaged. Keep lifting those hips even higher if you can. Great, and if your shoulders are under you, we're gonna walk those out to the side, release the hands, and we're gonna curl the vertebra back onto the floor, the spine rolling back down. See if you can do one vertebra at a time until you reach your sacrum. Go ahead and hug your knees in. Deep breath in and out here. First, let's stretch the right leg out on the floor. I want you to push through that right heel, drawing that left knee in tightly. Then take that left knee even out to the side, beyond your ribs a little bit. Keep stretching here. Keep pushing for that right heel. Good, and then draw both knees in. Stretch the left leg out on the floor. Push through that heel. Hug that right knee and thigh right on in. And then take that out beyond the ribs, out to the side, hug it in. Keep pushing to that left heel. As if you're pushing that heel right into a wall. Great. Now we're going to release the right foot to the floor. Keep that knee bent. Move the hips over to the right. Roll onto your left hip, guiding the bent right knee over to the left. You can hook those toes behind the left leg. Left leg is still active. Keep pushing through that heel. Rotating over with the head to look at the right hand, which is out off our shoulder in T position. Making sure this right shoulder stays in touch with the earth. Stretch that right hip down away from the right shoulder. Breathe in your twist. Good. Good, and then we're gonna rock right on over onto our back. Move those hips back into center again. This time we're switching that right leg out on the floor. Move the hips a little to the left, creating space to roll onto the right hip. The left bent knee falls to the right. Left shoulder is the one staying in touch with the floor. Do not roll up to the point that you're lifting that left shoulder off the floor. Reaching that left hip down away from the left shoulder. The left toes can hook behind the right leg. Your head can turn to look at that left hand over here in T position. Or 90 degrees from the body. And exhaling over onto your back. Move those hips back into center. Hug your knees in one more time. Good. And then we're going to move right on into Savasana from here. So stretching the legs out on the floor, but take them wide. Take them out toward the edges of your mat. Now, if you have a little extra flesh on your backside, sometimes it's nice to lift those hips and tuck that down so it's not keeping your low back in this deep arch, so your low back can be more relaxed. Draw the shoulder blades underneath of you and let the hands just rock open to the ceiling wherever they land. Rock your head a little side to side. If you're at home and you have an eye pillow handy, it's kind of nice to just put an eye pillow over your eyes. It's so soothing. Take that deep breath in and out. Exhale through the mouth. Inhaling and exhaling. Just relaxing here. Let go of your breath at this point. Let your body just sink into the support underneath of it. Let it feel heavy. Let the body just breathe its natural breath. You don't even have to think about it. Just let it breathe. Continuing to stay here in Savasana for several more moments. Letting your body continue to let go and continue to feel even more heavy. Continue to melt, becoming one with the earth, the floor below you. Allow yourself this time to just be in stillness after your practice. Letting go and softening just a little more. And then slowly, effortlessly inviting the breath in a little deeper. Feeling that breath in the back of the body as you lie on the floor. Guiding that breath down to your toes, inviting them to wiggle and move, maybe wiggling and circling the ankles. Inviting that breath down the arms to the wrists, the fingers, inviting a little movement there. Hugging the knees in and releasing that low back. Maybe circling a little bit on that sacrum, first to one side and then the other. Taking a moment to roll to that right side. Pausing in that stillness here. Remembering all that we focused on, that creating space in the body, creating space with the breath, creating space in the mind with the space at the top of the inhale and at the bottom of the exhale. Remembering these tools as you go forward into the rest of your evening or day, a week, till you're on your mat again. Each time reconnecting with that breath, creating more space, undoing the tension of our lives, maybe even lifetimes. Pushing your left hand into the floor to lift your torso up, coming to a comfortable seated position. Whether you sit in hero's pose, Savasana on the block, cross-legged, in easy pose, Savasana, or just sitting with your legs out straight. Reach down through your base. Lengthen up through the torso. Shoulders are relaxed. Crown of the head reaches up. Deep breath in and out. Bringing hands to heart for our last Om. Inhale. Namaste. Thank you again so much for joining me on my mat and yours.